Well, we have this case in Orange County, and I used to live in Orange County, and I recall that in Westminster, which is a city right next to where I used to live, in Santa Ana, they have a yearly celebration for the Vietnamese community for the Lunar New Year called the Tet Parade, Tet Festival, or whatever. Well, since 2010, a gay group called Viet LGBT, something of that that nature, uh, they have been marching in the parade the last 2 years, and then this year, because the city has no money to operate the festivities, they gave the private organization called I forgot what they were called, but they were a private Vietnamese organization. And because they took over, some of these faith groups decided to take advantage, and they said, hey, you keep these gay people in the parade, and we're going to boycott the parade, and we're going to cause a lot of problems. So, oh yeah, they boycott the parade. And when gay people boycott, oh, that's a bad thing. But when you boycott, oh, it's a dandy, it's great. So they decided to kick the gay people out of the parade, the Tet Festival parade. Well, actually, just the parade. The festival was organized by somebody else. So what happened was that during the parade, some people had rainbow flags and trying to support the LGBT community. And so later on, I think it was yesterday, I heard in the news that, because I read the Register, the Orange County Register, and they were talking about this controversy, and they went to the city council, the gay activists, and they said, well, gay Vietnamese activists, and they said, hey, we want this city, Westminster, to have an anti-discrimination policy for these parades. And so the city attorney is going to look into it and all that. And all the city council members were pretty upset about this controversy. Now, here's the thing. If you are one of those people that hates, well, I wouldn't say hate, but those people who want gay people to go back into the closet, they don't want the lifestyle to be shoved down their throats, whatever that means. Actually, you're the main problem as to why all of this is becoming a big deal. The more you push us out, well, not really me, because I'm not really that active, but the more you push gay people out, the more they're going to push back, and it's going to be in the media, it's going to be everywhere. And for some of you who are anti-gay, maybe you can own a bakery and discriminate against gay people, and you could get, a lot of business for doing that. You could get all these right-wingers and reactionaries to come and help you and give you some money. That's a really good business model. Discriminate against gay people, get yourself on the media, free publicity, and then get all the right-wingers to come and do business with you. That's a good business model. Now imagine if the gay parade says, we don't want any Vietnamese in our parade. Imagine if that were the case. I would say that will never happen, obviously, because we're tolerant. In a way, we try to be. But imagine if a gay parade somewhere says, you know what, we don't want any Vietnamese people. We don't want any Asians. Because, well, Asians are not really that visible in the gay community, so what? You people can have your own parade, your Rice Queen parade or something. Imagine if that were in the news. Oh, I mean, not only will we be branded racist, but there will be lawsuits. We will go to the courts, and guess what? I think the gay parade will lose. They will have to admit these Asians, these Vietnamese people, And the court will have to say, hey, you're going to have to admit these people into your parade. Now, there has been some legal cases involving this type of discrimination. In fact, go to the Boston St. Patrick's Day Parade. In that case, it went to the Supreme Court, I think it did. The private organization that was hosting the event in the public area, that's where you get these claims and these lawsuits. But the Boston City Council had an anti-discrimination policy. They had to admit the gay people, the gay Irish, into the parade, but they didn't want to, so they went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says that private organizations have a right to exclude people out of the parade that has a contradictory message. And the message of the St. Patrick's Day parade is what? I mean, is it anti-gay? Is it only, what? What is it? I mean, is that the Irish people are all straight and that's the message? Well, the message, I think, was that since it's a Catholic thing, because most Irish, I think, 96% of Irish people are Catholic. So the Catholic Church is against anything gay, so that makes sense, I guess. But in Vietnam, is there actually, there's no, it's not really a Catholic country. It's a communist country. I guess you can argue and say, well, it's communist. We were from a communist culture. Gay people, they're not really visible in a communist country like that. And our culture says that we are masculine, etc. I mean, they can argue this like that if they go to the Supreme Court. So they can do that. But here's the thing, though, that really ticks me off. You have these stupid reactionaries that go on these articles and then they talk out of their fucking asses like they know what the hell they're talking about. And then they don't do their homework. I read every day. I read every story that happens in America relating to the gay community. I've done my research. I've done a lot of things. And let me tell you something. I hate it when people are so fucking hypocritical. I really do. And this moron that was on the internet on this article on the Orange County Register, he's like, well, it's a private organization. They have a right to exclude anybody. There's no constitutional right to be in any parade. Actually, there's no constitutional right to have a parade because you need a permit from the city, and the city can deny it. And my thing is look, my solution is why don't we instead have the gay Viet group organize the damn parade anyway, so that way they won't be excluded because they're actually the host of the parade, and just deny the parade permit to these anti-gay, homophobic Vietnamese people, these organizers, because there's no, I think, in a legal framework, there's no constitutional right for a parade permit. You have a right to protest and do all that, but not a parade and stop traffic and everything. I mean, if that's the case, then do you have a constitutional right to parade down the I-405 in LA? I mean, the 405 is the busiest freeway in the country. You stop traffic there, people are going to kill themselves if you stop traffic. But all right, whatever. So this reactionary went, these gay people are always wanting to be on these parades, and St. Patrick's Day parade, they want to be in every parade. Can't they get a grip, he says, that there's no right for anybody to be in any parade that contradicts their message. And that's true. So explain this news article to me. I'm going to read you this article that I have. And it's quite funny. and very interesting. You have all this working in the background. They said St. Patrick's Day people, they say no gays. The Tet Parade people, they say no gays. We have a right to do that. We have a right to exclude them because that's what the Supreme Court said. That kind of judicial activism is what we like. But here's some more activism that I think they like, that they get engaged in. And they say one thing and then they do another. Here's the article. A Wisconsin taxidermist who wants to distribute Bibles at the 40th annual Twin Cities Pride Festival in June is suing the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board over a plan to restrict him to an area away from the action. In a federal lawsuit, Brian Johnson, an evangelical conservative Christian, a right-winger reactionary, just like this guy that was foaming at the mouth on the Orange County Register article, says that he has distributed Bibles at the annual Loring Park event since 1995 and that he had no problems until 2009 when the organization refused to rent him a booth after asking about his views on homosexuality. This guy's anti-gay. He wants to pass out Bibles and condemn the gay lifestyle. That's what he's trying to do. And he has a constitutional right to be there. But you gay people, you want to be in a Tet parade just because you're gay and Vietnamese. No, get out of here. You have no right to do that. Fucking hypocrisy, man. Johnson and his family planned to walk through the 2009 event distributing Bibles, but festival officials told them they weren't welcome, his suit says. A police officer allegedly told Johnson that the park was private property that day. And Johnson was arrested when they didn't leave. The charges were dropped. And he went to court, this guy, this evangelical Christian, and the judge in that court ruled that the gay parade, the gay pride festival, had to let him in and have a booth. Yet, the Supreme Court says you can't do that. The Irish Catholics can kick gays out. The Vietnamese can kick gays out. That's what you reactionaries, you evangelical Christians say. But we can't kick you out of these gay pride parades and festivals? What is this? It's called fascism. That's what it is. Fascists operate this way, in which it's all their way or the highway. And there is no two-way street. I mean, they talk about a two-way street, freedom, fuck that. Fine, if you want to exclude gays from the Tet Parade, from the St. Patrick's Day Parade, from the Puerto Rican Parade, from the whatever parade, from the underwear parade, from the Mexican Parade, I don't care. In fact, I don't care anymore. But don't come and try to sue us because you want to be in our parade. The fuck's the matter with you, you lunatic? I tell you, these people just piss me off. When I see this crap, when I see people on the internet talking like they're big shots, big mouths. Oh yeah, you gay people always want to sue to get into this parade. Well, here you go. What about you people? And then when I presented this article to that guy, he stayed quiet, obviously. I just heard crickets. But there you go. Oh, yes. Don't march in our parade, but we can march in yours.